GCR TV, channel of God's love. A warm welcome to all our viewers on this episode of Goenche Tarvotti. With every new episode of Goenche Tarvotti, we are discovering so many hidden facts in the life of a Goan Tarvotti. As Goans, we are surely proud of their achievements and contribution to the world maritime trade. In our Goenche Tarvotti series, we have a high-profile Tarvotti in our studios today. We are eager to unravel many facets of this dynamic Goan seafarer who has sailed for 19 years and last 4 years as captain. And he has also held high-profile positions on shore, such as Marine Safety and Quality Superintendent for the largest ship management company in the world. He is a self-motivated person and has achieved many things beyond the oceans. He may be a master mariner by profession, but at the same time he is an endurance athlete by passion. Captain Vaz has done the half and the full marathons, ultra marathon, besides mountain trekking on the Mount Everest. Very soon he will be part of the Goa Ironman event. Sounds very exciting, isn't it? We welcome a multifaceted Goenche Tarvotti Master Mariner Captain Robert Shane Vaz to our studios today. Welcome, Captain.
Thank you very much, Daniel, for that introduction. It's an honor to be in your studios. Thank you.
We are also honored by your very presence in our studios today. Being so busy, you have taken time off your regular schedules to be here. Thank you very much for that.
Thank you for inviting me.
To begin with, I would rather like to know who actually inspired you to pursue a career on the sea, and how old were you when you first joined the ship?
So, my fascination with the sea began at a very young age when I was a kid. I'm sure you remember the old ships, the Konkan Sevak and Konkan Shakti. Yeah?
Rohini.
So, I remember the Konkan Sevak and Konkan Shakti. So, every summer holiday we used to come from Mumbai to Goa.
Okay.
And the ships really fascinated me. And that time I used to see some young cadets rowing. They are from the TS Rajendra, I guess.
Yes.
So, that always fascinated me. Then that's what was my first passion towards joining the sea.
So then basically a part of your life as a growing up youngster was in Mumbai and you were coming to Goa for a holiday. Is it something like that?
That's right. I was born and brought up in Mumbai, and after my 12th standard, that's when I joined the sea as a deck cadet.
On TS Rajendra?
No, I didn't join.
You didn't join the training ship?
I didn't join the training ship. That's another story by itself. But yeah, so like every 12th standard boy, I applied for a lot of engineering exams. Yes. And also the TS Rajendra exams. Unfortunately, I did not clear any entrance exams, the BITS Pilani, IIT and TS Rajendra. So the first two results came out and I went to see my results for TS Rajendra. And then I see my name was not on the list, and I actually was crying there.
Okay.
When somebody told me what happened, I said, this was the exam I was sure I'll pass, but I failed. Then he told me, why don't you join as a deck cadet, direct deck cadet? I said, what is that? He gave me a list of companies. And I actually went company to company, with my small little biodata and applied, and I was very fortunate to be selected by one of them.
Okay.
Yeah.
So basically, as you said, that it was whilst traveling from Mumbai to Goa by ship that actually inspired that little spark in you.
Yes.
And but there is no other person as a seaman in your family. Are you a first generation?
I'm the first generation seafarer. Yes.
Okay.
And following my footsteps, my brother joined sea. My brother-in-law was also in the sea, but yeah, I was the first generation seafarer.
I see.
Yeah.
So a small thing like that, just merely by traveling from Mumbai to Goa by those old passenger ships, is what led you here today.
Absolutely.
Am I right?
Absolutely, 100%.
So then, gradually as you joined as a cadet on board the ship, how did your maritime training and education actually prepare you for a big post like a ship captain? And how long and how arduous has that, journey been along the way?
So, when I joined sea, there was no pre-sea training as such. We joined, whatever I learned was on the ship. So, lot of trial and error, lot of, doing chipping and painting, and that's where you started from.
Okay.
Of course, now it's more structured and you've got, people teaching you, training you, institutes helping you. But that time it was not so structured. So, yeah, I knew I was just a 12th standard cadet that time. So I knew I had to really put in a lot of effort. So I really focused a lot. And fortunately, with God's grace, I passed my exam very fast. My first exam, that's the second mate's exam. And once that got over, then I moved on. I used to be on tankers.
Okay.
And then I moved on to, oil tank, gas tankers actually, gas and chemical. And that's where the interest grew. And I really put in a lot of effort, learned a lot of stuff on my own actually. And fortunate by some of the mentors, really guided you through. And that's how I've risen up to captain.
No, just for the sake of record, so to say, as you said, you're the first generation seafarer. There was nobody in the family, extended family. How were your parents when you expressed your desire to join the ship? What was their mindset? How did they react to your choice of career?
They were pretty apprehensive. They didn't know what it is. Neither did I know. You had, different department, deck, engine, or catering.
It was just a general term of ship.
That's it, just a general term of ship. So, yeah, and fortunate to my good luck, I joined as a trainee cadet. So, yeah, I landed up becoming an officer, or else probably I didn't know what was the ship, what are the different departments. Nobody to guide you that time. So, yeah, I'm very happy to where I have reached now. Yeah.
So, I know you have had quite a long tenure on the ship and then as a captain, but actually, let's hear it from you. How challenging was this your long-term career on the ship, and how difficult? What were the things that you actually faced? Hard work to go up the promotion ladder, so to say.
Yeah.
Could you briefly tell our viewers, because
yes,
it will generate a lot of interest among the youngsters.
Yeah, I think nothing comes easy. So, yeah, you have to really work hard for it. So, it's good to be smart, but don't be over smart. That's the first rule. Always keep your eyes and ears open, listen to, what's happening around you. So, I learned a lot from here. And, yeah, step by step, no promotion came easy. It was hard. But fortunately, I got everything in time. And, yeah, I became a captain at the age of 30. I sailed for 4 years after that. And then, we have this something called as this ship management system, where every procedure is laid down by the company. So I used to go through this very, very, in depth, and I used to find a lot of errors, and I used to always tell the company, this is wrong and that is wrong. These people probably fed up of me, They said, now I think you need to come ashore and you come and be here. So that was my first break. So I was based in Cyprus, where I was designated as a marine safety and quality superintendent. And I was also the DPA, that's called as a designated person ashore.
Okay.
So I had about 6 ships under me. So, it's very easy when you're captain on one ship and you just have these crew members, your ship and your cargo to look after.
And your support team.
And your support team, that's it. But when you're ashore, you have 6 ships under you. You have 6 ships, you have 6 crew, you have 6 captains, you have everything all under you. So, it's not like, you can just go to sleep. You don't know when the call comes. Exactly. Oh, this ship is in problem. Oh, this ship failed an inspection. So, it's right round the clock. So, it's a little more stressful, I think.
You have to be handy to give online help.
Absolutely. Because they trust you. And if you don't pick up the call, that's what's happening actually. Many times this captain calls this person in the shore, in the office, and they don't pick up the call. And then they say, oh, this office don't help us. So, it's very, very important not to break the trust of the seafarer. So, whatever time of the day or night, I always picked up the phone, always speak nicely to them, because they're not calling for a chat.
Right.
There is something wrong, that's why they've called you.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's a kind of an emergency situation.
Absolutely.
Which they cannot tackle on their own.
Yes.
And they need a little expertise advice.
Absolutely.
That's how
they look up to you for that, and if you get rough or you say, why you phoned me this time, then the trust is broken.
Correct. Yeah. Captain, while we are talking about your shipping career and for such a long time, can you briefly speak about some milestone in your career? Definitely there will be a couple of them, but I would appreciate if you pick one or two and
milestones. Yeah, first becoming captain was a very, very huge achievement. Every deck cadet dreams of becoming a captain.
Absolutely.
And like most of us who have sailed for a few years, you always look for a shore job, and I was fortunate to become a superintendent. So I joined my career at shore started as a superintendent. After doing this for some time, I realized that you still have restrictions, you say you're the superintendent, you're the designated person ashore, but you still have people above you and you cannot do anything freely.
Okay.
So that's when I said I need to move out. So that's when I got into auditing and inspecting ships.
I see.
I got into onboard training. So far I've done about 300 odd ships, inspection, training, a multinational crew. So that's where I learnt a lot. You understand crew behavior, you understand why ships are failing, why accidents are happening. You know, the managers and the owners say, we are putting in so many millions of dollars in the training, but nothing is happening. Yes, there's a gap that exists, you know, and that was when that interest started of bridging this gap. So yeah, so that's where I am now.
So in this position, your mind is constantly working, am I right?
Absolutely.
With something or the, even I think as we are here together in the studios,
yes,
somewhere the back of your mind, one ticklish problem will be there, which you
100%.
put on the back burner.
100%.
For the moment.
It's always working.
It's always working.
Yes.
So I'm right in saying this.
You're right in saying that, but it's very, very important. Your health is first as well.
Absolutely.
So especially at night or whenever you're resting, you have to make sure you tune off completely. So you get that rest rejuvenated so you can start the next day.
It's not a issue or a problem of handling one ship with your crew and officers
Right.
of 30, 40.
Right.
But handling 5, 6 different ships at different time in different time zone and
Exactly.
different ship routes, am I
Yeah,
right?
absolutely.
And you never know what would be their situation, what call may come and what emergency may be solved.
Absolutely, yes, 100%.
So you're in that hot seat.
Hot seat.
24/7.
Hot seat all the time, and sometimes it's a real genuine, oh, Captain, we have lost this, or we need this services, or but sometimes it's, Captain, I'm not feeling good on the ship. I need to go home. I need to sign off.
Okay.
You woke me up in the middle of the night and you're telling me this, but you can't say anything after that. Okay, we will try our best. Let's talk to the crew manager.
Okay, coming back to the seafarers with respect to Goan perspective,
Yeah.
you know now a lot of number of Goan youths,
Yeah.
and with a lot of education to back their profile, you know,
Yeah.
they are joining the ship as deck cadet or deck marine engineering junior level officers,
Yeah.
and then they want to move upwards toward the top job, you know. Are you happy with this situation, or you still want them to prepare a little more while on ground and then come and take the leap?
To break it down, I mean, I think we still have very, very less number of Goans actually joining as deck cadets and engineers.
Okay.
It is not
in that department.
Yes, it is very, very less.
Negligible?
If you look at the bigger picture, I would say negligible. Because people still prefer to go on the cruisers, people prefer to go to the casinos. I mean, when you talk about a deck cadet or a marine engineer, it's grinding yourself. You have to really, really work hard. You have to really study. It's a lot of commitment. And I don't see that many deck Goans actually motivated to come to the sea at the moment. You know, they prefer the life ashore. It's much more easier. It's a sad fact, unfortunately.
In this case and in this scenario, with all your experience and expertise that you have, and you have seen sea life at a very close quarters,
yeah.
What are the corrective measures that perhaps Goans can take, including the participation of the Goa government, state government?
I think
I'm talking about corrective measures, so
Yeah.
that more of them go and join this department.
Yeah, I think a lot depends on awareness. I think we have a lot of seafarers, the ex-seafarers over in the catering department, the older generation. But I think the younger youth don't know so much about this. So on my own, actually, I've been to Carmel College in Nowhere, where I gave a talk during the Women's Day, I think. Because now at sea you have a lot of women.
Okay.
Lots of women. And there are ships right from captain to the lowest are all women. And you have women from all over India. Why not Goa?
Okay, yes.
So that's when I went to Carmel College and I spoke to the principal and I spoke to the whole lot of girls. I said, you're all science students, all graduates. Why don't you join the ship? Because there's a lot of opportunities. Life is tough, but it will make you stronger and you can really grow fast. Yeah. Because now the Indian government is actually encouraging women to join.
Fine. And it will open up a different avenue for our young ladies.
Absolutely.
Who are bold and courageous.
Absolutely.
And definitely has that will to go the little extra mile.
Absolutely, 100%.
And so far, I think our young ladies have not seen to this avenues on the ship.
Yeah. What most of them look for is the easy way out. You do 4 STCW courses.
Yes.
Which every person on the casino has done. And you pay some agent some money and that's it, you're on a cruise ship.
You get a posting.
Yes, so that's not the job you want to do. There's no rise in that. Of course, with nothing against any job, but you need to rise up, and I think there's no challenge in that. So if you join as a deck cadet or an engineer, there's a lot of challenges and you can keep growing up in your profession.
Coming back to your sailing days,
Yeah.
can you recall any incident as a master of the vessel which you will never forget?
Oh,
There must have been a couple.
there are several, but the first one will always remain special to me. So when I just became captain, when I took over from the outgoing master, and we have somebody called as the pilot. So when the ship comes into port, we stop out of port limits,
Yes.
and then you have a pilot that guides you through. So I remember it was in Cameroon in Douala, where I called the pilot and said, "Pilot, we are at your pilot station." So he said, "Keep coming." I said, "Okay." He said, I'm underway, I can see you." I said, "Okay." So I kept going, and then after I passed the particular set of boys, they are supposed to meet the pilot. I said, "Pilot, I'm here, you're not here." He said, No, keep coming, I can see you." And this went on for 5 minutes, 10 minutes, half an hour. When I realized I'm halfway through the channel, it is my first command, and to make matters worse, the pilot is talking. He's telling another ship, a big container ship behind me, "Please follow this ship, follow this ship." And that's when I got really nervous, because this is my first command without a pilot, halfway through the channel, and the pilot is telling the second big ship to follow me. And fortunately, I've managed to keep my nerves, and finally, eventually the pilot came. So this is going to be really special with me, always with me.
Generally, a port pilot comes up on board, isn't it?
Yes, they're supposed to come at the outer limits, but
it is
yeah.
a mandatory feature.
But in Africa, it's a different ball game altogether.
altogether.
Yeah.
Tell me, Captain, how does a captain manage the responsibilities, of ensuring both that the ship as well as the cargo and officers and crew are safe? Because you all are traveling through several time zones, through most challenging sea routes in the world. And what is your biggest challenge in this situation as a master?
I think it's about juggling balls.
Juggling balls?
Yeah, it's simple like juggling balls. You need to first make sure your crew are safe and happy. You need to keep your cargo happy. Your cargo safe, of course, not happy, safe.
Yeah, safe.
The managers, of course, are keeping a close watch on you. The owners are keeping a close watch on you. So it's just about juggling balls and, keep everybody happy. Most important thing is empathy, I think. Once you realize that the crew are actually doing the hard work, they have sacrificed their family, they are going through whatever stress they are, and you start to push them just to please somebody else, it's not going to happen. So once you realize you're in the crew's shoes, you have done the job yourself, you realize what it is. So, and once your crew is happy, the ship is happy, everything just works out fine. So I'm not a very good person to keep in touch with people.
Okay.
But whenever I've met anybody, even 20 years ago, it's like a hug and a kiss, and we remember all the old times. So yes, good with everybody, but I don't keep in touch with many.
Okay, fine.
Yeah.
So it's basically the manner in which you juggle the things as per the situation, day to day.
Yes.
And that's how you get
Absolutely,
going and keep sailing.
Yes, yes.
Has there been any such incident during your tenure as a master that, during any emergency you had to fall back on taking shelter in the ship's citadel?
Not as a master, but yes, I had gone on one ship for doing an audit, and while we are crossing through Somalia region, we had, we seen a couple of pirate boats
The
there.
most sensitive.
Yeah, the most sensitive zone, yeah. But we had armed guards with us, and that's when the armed guards told all of us to go and hide in the citadel, because we just had the master, one officer and one crew member on the top, on the bridge, and we all were in the citadel. And when everything was clear out, they were sure that these guys are not coming towards us, then it asked us to come out. But they did fire warning shots as well, they were that close.
Okay.
And finally they passed off, left us alone, and we came out. So that was an experience. Yeah.
That you have faced.
That I faced, yes.
Captain, just a short while ago, you were talking about the Goen boys joining, and they have got a lot of opportunities as deck officers and junior engineers in the marine section, engine room. So, what exactly are the biggest challenges this staff face during their sailing period, especially when they are just new recruits?
Yeah.
They have just been picked up from land and put on board the ship. And for days and weeks and months, they don't see land again, maybe.
Yeah.
Especially when you're sailing on a large crude vessel, VLCCs. And
Right. So I think a lot depends on the mentality and the attitude of these young people who come out to sea. they see the sea as a very rosy picture, which is not. So when they are doing their training, when they are doing their cadetship, or when they are learning in the college, they should actually understand what's going on out there. They need mentors to guide them, and this is not happening too much on the ships now, because right from the captain, chief engineers, they are so busy with their own work that they don't have time to mentor and talk to these boys. So earlier when I was a cadet, if I didn't know something, the seniors would shout at me or tell me to do something, but they would teach me. Now it's no longer like that. You're supposed to learn in the college and come and perform here. So very few young officers who actually sit and train you. Okay. And it's no longer that environment where all are happy, friendly, are in the crew mess room, enjoying, partying. That has become reduced to drastically actually, because now everybody on their phone. So as soon as they finish your work, they are sitting in their cabins with their phones. So there's no interaction. That bond is missing now, and the people think that okay, I've joined the ship, I'm going to go out in this country, I'm going to go here, going to go there, and that doesn't happen, because when you're in port, you still have your work to be done, and they find that very difficult, and they find it difficult to cope with actually. Yeah.
You just spoke about mentoring the new recruits, especially. As we all know, normally any seafarer who's sailing on board the ship, he has to constantly upgrade his knowledge by doing some more courses and things like that every now and then, periodically rather.
Right.
And if you have to have better prospects, isn't there anything like that to mentor a young seafarer so that he is not only physically strong, mentally strong, emotionally strong? Because first of all, he's cut off from his family life, he's cut off from his friends, he's cut off from the society, social life, and suddenly he has to work several hours a day.
Yes.
So he has to be mentally, physically and emotionally strong.
Absolutely.
So there is nothing like that happening at the moment?
There is no...
And you said the top level of management officers don't have time for all this.
Yeah.
Because
there is no mandatory guidance as such, but yes, there are some companies who actually call these cadets to the company and speak to them, and they can interact with the senior people who sign on, sign off. So yeah, it does happen. It also depends on how much interest the young kids are taking towards listening to somebody else. Yeah.
So it's a
two-way street.
Absolutely. Captain, now that you are the Chief Operating Officer for
NavGuide
Solutions, what exactly is this NavGuide, and what is the contribution of this NavGuide solution to the entire maritime industry?
Okay, yeah. So I work for this company called NavGuide Solutions. I am the Chief Operating Officer. So we have a very, very distinct vision. All the problems and issues we faced while we were sailing, we tried to eliminate that. And me working in the office as a manager on the ship management part, absolutely understand what problems they face regarding the ships. So that was the work we are targeting. So we are a very marine as well as technology based company.
Okay.
So to put this into simple perspective, let's say on the ship earlier, what happened for last 20, 30, 3 decades, during Saturday we used to have training, or we'll watch a safety movie. Now let's say I'm from the deck department, I'm watching something about the engine, how he's repairing the purifier, how he's overhauling the engine, and that's of no interest to me. And all the lights are off, I would be dozing there, sleeping. And while he's explaining something about the bridge, how does the radar work, I mean, the third engineer has no interest in the radar, he would be sleeping. So we realized that, each one are watching 30, 40 minute videos and sleeping, and there's no outcome of it. So at NavGuides, we have got micro learning videos, just 3 to 4 minutes videos targeted to your job. So you can see it and learn from it.
Pinpointing.
That's it. So, and the videos are very, very effective, and it picked up several managers are using it. Several seafarers are actually paying us to use it. As a seafarer, I never ever imagined I had to pay somebody to learn something. But now we have so many doing it. And from the manager's part of it, you see, they say we spend so much of money, but the ships are not passing inspections.
I see.
What's to be done? So that's what we are targeting. So we have got an app called as Guide to Inspections, whereby we actually teach and mentor the ship staff how to carry out an inspection. Like we spoke about, mentoring is not there anymore on the ships. So through our app, we can actually mentor as well. To give a very simple example, let's say if I think all the seafarers out will very, very easily relate to what I'm saying. Let's say I'm a third mate and I didn't have a very good cadetship. That means I didn't learn too much as a cadet. but I've passed my exams. I've joined the ship as a third mate. And now the captain tells me, okay, please go and look at the lifeboat because we are having an inspection. Now, if I did not learn anything as a third mate, what would I look at? Probably see whether it's clean, everything is intact, that's it. But now, if I give him this third mate, this small little video, 3 minutes video, what exactly has to be checked, what are the items checked by the inspectors that come in, the port state control inspector or the sire inspectors, this young boy will actually follow the video and actually do those steps. He will do a much more thorough inspection. And these videos, what we have done is for all ranks. Another thing what we have done is, now the shipping industry had lacked one very important part, that is the human aspect, which we have the OCIMF, which has something called as the sire inspections, where they are focused on human aspect of shipping. They look at your attitude. Now, it's very easy for me to say, Daniel, you need to change your attitude. But what I need to change? Have you trained me for this? So we have actually made a lot of games, whereby the seafarers could actually understand what is an interview scenario, how are they going to answer it. So it's like a prelim sort of thing. So they would actually go through this game before the actual inspection. And whatever the inspector is going to ask them, they've already done it before. So on the day of the inspection, they're very confident. So we find it very, very effective. In fact, we are one very, very small company, but just a couple of months back, we were called to the IMO and we presented in the IMO, which is a very, very, very big thing for us because not many companies get to go to IMO, and we were privileged to go there, speak, and it was a fantastic, one of the biggest highlights of our journey so far.
So now, how challenging is this position of COO, and does it involve visiting different ports across the globe and different countries and meeting the ships officers and captains like that?
We do a lot of visiting, we do a lot of going to managers and to companies to speak, but we have a team that does it.
Okay.
So I am not too much involved in that. I am more into creating more of the developmental stuff for the company.
Now that you, after putting in so many years of seafarers, now there are a lot of opportunities on shore, and maybe many of them who have spent a couple of years sailing.
Yeah.
There comes a time when you want to take a break.
Absolutely.
And maybe break not in that sense of the word, but transition.
Right.
Where the thing is less stressful and less strenuous.
Right.
What advice would you give such of our Goan seafarers who would in the near future maybe take an alternate route of transition from sailing to shore?
I think most of the seafarers, masters and chief engineers, when you finish few years of few contracts as master and chief engineer, you want to take that leap ashore, you want to come ashore. Many think it's very rosy, but there are lots of things to be considered. So I think the first and foremost thing is to see what are your demands, what you want, what are you looking for. So you want to join the office. So when you join the office, you might have to travel. You might have to change your base. Maybe you have to go to a different country. Can you live there alone? Or are you going? I'll give you my example. So when I went to Cyprus, it was a very, very big decision to make because in Cyprus, maybe 2 Indians were there. Most were British and Cypriots and Greeks.
Yeah.
So would I gel with that society? Would I go Friday, Saturday, Sunday, be with them? I don't have anybody else. Would my wife and kids be with them? So that's the call you need to take, because when you are ashore, you are not that you're going to be ashore. You're going to be traveling to ships. Your family is going to be alone here. So you have to focus, and the salary ashore is not like the ship. It's not a big fat package what a captain gets, the same one what you get ashore. It's not the same. When you're ashore, you're going to pay for your lodging, your boarding, transport, your kids' education in a different country. It's very, very difficult. So
and the company is not providing this.
No, not all companies.
Not even the accommodation.
Not all companies do it. No, maybe initial for the first month till you settle down. Yes, after that you're on your own. So that's a lot of money. Then you realize.
And then it's a big decision to.
It's a very big decision. It's a very big decision.
It's a turning point decision.
It's a big decision you need to make, and that's where some people take the leap without understanding it, and then they said, "I'm working ashore, but my wife is alone. Let's say in Dubai with my kids, and I am going to all different ships in different parts of the world." then what is this? So then they leave it. So that's a very important point to realize, if you have got enough of financial stability, you are ready to take this leap. These are all the challenges. Shore job does not mean you are only going to be sitting in the office. You are going to be traveling a lot. Like I told you, my case, shore job is not only thinking of your one ship, you have 10 ships to look after.
Yes.
You would be running. You say, like you have planned a party today and you've got a call, oh, that ship is an emergency, please go. You have to go. So, and that doesn't happen when you're captain. When you're down for 3 months at home, you're 3 months. Nobody is going to disturb you at home.
Absolutely.
So,
absolutely.
that's the decision you need to make.
This is like constantly being on call duty.
Absolutely.
If I may put it in
you have to love it to be here.
Yes.
You have to love it. Yeah.
Now, Captain, after all your seafaring experience and now that you are with NavGuide Solutions,
Yeah.
what are the initiatives that you have actually taken besides your NavGuide solution to impart this, vast seafaring knowledge to a younger generation who are aspiring to take up high-profile responsibilities as mariners?
Yeah. So,
Do you have anything planned out for this thing, guys?
one of my passions is teaching. So, I do lecture at various places. I used to lecture at Narottam Moraji Institute, that's one of the biggest shipping institutes in India. I lecture at the IMS College in Sada. Earlier, I used to lecture at the Seascan Maritime Institute, and I also lectured at MES College, the BB and Shipping. And that's where I've spread a lot of knowledge, shared whatever I've got, and many have aspired and joined ships and taken up various posts ashore. So I feel very, very happy. People still keep in touch with me. So we have done this, we have reached here, we have got promotion. So make me feel happy.
That is what gives
it's a small contribution, but I feel happy.
Satisfaction.
Absolutely. Yes.
You're talking about your passion for teaching. I remember I've come across a couple of YouTube videos wherein you're featured imparting knowledge on first aid, first aid matters. And I think the latest one I saw recently was something to do with snake bites, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, yes.
I'm coming to snake bites in a different manner,
Yeah.
Are there snakes on board the ships? This is one big question. You have to answer that first, and then we can talk about your other initiatives that you do with the help of YouTube videos.
So this is a question many seafarers ask, when we do our first aid training or advanced training course, why do we learn about first aid about snakes? I mean, snake bites. So yes, some ships, especially container ships, do get snakes. We had a few snakes traveling on various ships from India, Africa, and they went down to Europe as well.
Stowaways.
Yeah, they were like stowaways on the ship, yeah. So I think it is really important to understand this. You're not supposed to catch them, but in case you're bitten, what's the first aid to be done? So it's really, really important to do this, yeah.
Mm-hmm. But it is a common feature. Oh, it was one, stray.
It's not a common feature, but it does happen regularly. Mm-hmm. So in the last 4-5 years, I'm sure at least 10 to 15 snakes have gone up and down. So,
okay, can you in this respect recall any real life situation, or as they would say, drama in real life, wherein your first aid expertise actually came to good use in an emergency situation on board the ship as well as maybe elsewhere?
Yes, I take this training very, very seriously. That's why I'm an onboard trainer. So I can narrate one incident. I had just finished a ship inspection in Singapore and I was heading back to India. Within 2 hours of the flight, suddenly the pilot made an announcement, is there any doctor on board? And when you said doctor, when you hear an alarm, first thing I jumped up and seen what happened. And I could see a couple of aisles behind me. The 2 air hostesses were standing and, the sort of commotion. So I just unbuckled my seat belt and went there. And I seen one of the passengers, he was fallen down with his head drooping. So I directly went and checked his pulse, and they asked me, are you a doctor? Mm-hmm. I said, no, I'm not a doctor, but I'm a certified first aider. So I said, I couldn't find a pulse. I said, see, he doesn't have a pulse. Couldn't see him breathing. I said, we need to act now or else you're going to lose this person. So when I said this, they were like startled. Stunned. And in the meantime, I think one of the assistant pilot also came. I said, see, let's start or else we'll lose him. They said, okay, please. So they allowed me to take the lead. So with them, I put him on the aisle. I cut open his shirt, his jacket. He was wearing a tight jacket, cut it open. And I started giving CPR compressions.
Okay.
I asked one of the ladies, the air hostess, to bring the AED. That's an automatic external defibrillator.
Yeah.
I gave him a shock and started CPR again. And so long you're not breathing or no pulse. And finally we got a pulse. So which I told them, please tell the pilot. The pilot was in touch with the control tower. So we were supposed to go to Mumbai. They diverted the flight to Chennai. And so far we kept on doing this. He got a slight pulse. There was a student on board who managed, they said if you can give him drips. So there was another student who managed to put drips for him. And he was like this on the aisle. I was sitting with him on the aisle. Finally we landed at Chennai and we waited for the medical staff to come. And there was two people who came in, but they couldn't carry this guy, he was heavy. So I actually lifted him and took him outside the plane. The ambulance was on the runway. They allowed me to get down, put him in the ambulance, and I told his wife, see, please don't worry because he's got his pulse back, he's got his breath back, so don't worry. And finally we went, and the airlines were pretty kind. They told me, Captain, we are going to upgrade you to business class. I said, thank you very much. Anyway, last 2 hours I sat in business class and came back. Yeah. Then couple of weeks later, I phoned the airlines to ask him about this person. Is he alive or is he okay? So he said, yes, Captain, he's alive. He's okay, but they don't want to disclose the name and we don't want to disclose anything. I said, absolutely, I'm not interested in all that as long as he's alive. So I know I have done a right job. I have done something good. And that's one big message to all the seafarers. We do our HTCW courses, but majority of us, I say more than majority of us, do it for the certification.
Okay.
We are not doing it to impart knowledge somewhere. We are not doing it to learn somewhere. But Daniel, please tell me, what is the use of saying I've got a first aid certificate when a person collapses in front of you and dies in front of you and you can't do anything about it? And that is what exactly happens on ships. They do ships, they have done these courses, they have done refresher courses, but you ask them one question, they don't know anything.
Situation arises.
Somebody's fallen down, do something, they don't know what should be done. Then what is the use of this certificate? So that's where I do this training in a more intense way. And yeah, I've taken this to a second level,
Okay.
So I make small YouTube videos and I post it out. So you never know who will benefit from it.
Correct.
Somebody will benefit from it. So it's a small initiative what I've done, my way of giving back to society. Yeah.
That's a very good initiative, Captain, as you said, and you have already faced a real life situation.
Yeah.
And you were able to save one life.
I can't explain the feeling. Till today, I'm very thankful to God that I've done something good.
In this high profile job, in this stressful situation, do you have time for any other interest or occupation? I'm saying, do you have time? Because finally what comes down is time management.
Yes.
What are your other interests and occupation? Oh, you have time for that?
Oh yeah, I have time. Like I say, I am a mariner by profession, but an endurance athlete by passion. So I love to run. So
maybe you could talk a little more about this also on this endurance athlete phase of your life.
Yeah. So it all started way back in 2010, whereby we had the Goa River Marathon, which was organized in Goa.
Vasco Sports.
So my brother-in-law is in Vasco. He said, hey Shane, come on over and do it. So I remember my kids, they were 7 and 9. I said, let's go and do a 5 kilometer walk. So they were very excited. So I put a small water bottle and tiffin box and we walked 5 kilometers. And we could see all these African runners running and wow, it was fantastic. People singing, music, dancing, Kenyans, yes.
They were the winners.
And when that got over, I thought to myself, if my two kids, 7 and 9, can walk 5 kilometers, can't I run 21 kilometers?
Okay.
So that was the first time it struck me.
You picked up the inspiration from your children?
From this, yes, from these two kids.
Yeah.
If they could walk 5 kilometers and all the others, various shapes and sizes are running, can't I? So that's when the next year I did 21 kilometers.
This is a half marathon.
Half marathon, and I pretty liked it. A couple of years later, I kept on doing this. Then I said, oh, a half marathon is really good, let me try something else. So I slowly started ramping up the mileage. I did a full marathon.
42 kilometers.
42 kilometers. I was very excited.
Where did you participate? Which part of India?
I did my first 42 in Goa. That was the first time Goa River Marathon was organizing a 42.
Yes.
I did that 42 in Goa for the first time, which was very nice because you're doing it in your own state. Then I did in Mumbai and then various places, Ahmedabad, various places. I travel a lot around the country doing marathons.
I think even Pune has it.
Yes, I did that. Aple Pune Marathon. I've done that.
One.
I've done that as well. So after I did few 42s, I said, let's do something more. So then I went into something called as ultra running. Ultra is more than 42. So I did my first 50-kilometer run at a place called, one of the tough runs called as Malnad Ultra. So I did that, very happy with that. Then I gradually, you get lured towards it.
Yes.
So I did 60s, 70s, and then I did the Khardungla challenge. Khardungla is in Leh, Ladakh, yeah.
Okay.
It's very, very high altitude, almost
High
18,000 feet and very less oxygen. The first time I went, I DNF'd. That means I did not finish the race. At 55, I gave up. But the consecutive years I went, I finished it. Maybe not in that cutoff time, but I finished it very, very happy because I know I've helped a lot of people. Then I did a 100 kilometers run.
Oh, I see.
Yes, I've done a couple of 100 kilometers and I felt very, very nice.
One stretch.
One stretch. I had something like 17 hours. I enjoyed it, but yeah. My wife is also a runner. So she said, even I'll do 100. So I said, let's do it together.
Even she has done 100.
Yes, yes. So we both ran this 100 kilometers in Bangalore. In fact, the icing on the cake was she stood second in the women's category. So,
I see.
so big trophy sitting in the house. And
You make things look so simple, Captain, and you're talking about 100 kilometers run. Okay.
It is not simple. It is not simple.
Is this the secret of your physical fitness?
It definitely is. It is not simple. It is a lot of time. It takes a lot of effort.
Sacrifices.
A lot of sacrifices. When people are partying on Saturdays and Sundays, I go to sleep early so that I get up early morning and run. So yeah, running is something I'm very passionate about. And then, like people in Goa know me as an ultra runner. I've done lots of ultra runs. Then something else happened. In 2019, we had the Ironman come to India. So Ironman is an event which includes running, cycling and swimming.
Yes.
And they came to Goa for the first time and I was a volunteer there. So, distributing jerseys, distributing things, helping out. And I was so fascinated. My God, I think that time 35 countries, different athletes came to India. So I said, wow, this is something I should be doing once.
Okay.
But I did not know how to cycle. I never knew how to swim. I'm a good runner, that's all. So the consecutive year, I think we had the corona, this coming, epidemic. The next year, when they had the Ironman, I said, we have so many mariners. I know a cyclist, he's the chief engineer, Nixon Gomes. Then I know one of my friends, Benny, his son is a swimmer. So I told Nixon, hey, why don't we form a mariners team? And we'll do the relay for Ironman. It's a very, very big thing. No mariner had done it. So let's do it. We'll maybe inspire a few mariners. So he said, yeah, Robert, good idea. Let's do it. So we actually formed a team and we did the Ironman in 2022. And Daniel, I feel very proud to say we did pretty well. Out of 72 groups, we stood 31. Considering the first few 20 or 25 were by Army, Navy and the Coast Guard, Police. So our group was not bad. I mean, we did pretty well and we were very happy, all three of us.
I understand somewhere down the line you have also had a close association with Mount Everest.
Oh,
how did it happen?
So
right from ground level you went up in
so that's
mountain ranges.
So my wife is also an ultra runner. She said, see, we were going to celebrate a silver jubilee last year. So she's saying, we have done enough of running. Let's do something different. So I was thinking of what different I could do. So then that's when I came about this Everest base camp trek. So it's a 15-16 day trek from Lukla to right till Everest base camp. It's a very tough trek. So I said, you're ready to do it? She said, yeah, let's do it. Let's try it. So both of us trained very hard. Okay. You need to go to a lot of physical training to do it because it's not easy to walk for at that altitude, ups and downs. So, and fortunately we survived. We did it. And very, very proud to say we completed the whole trek on our legs. Because now what is happening, this has become like a fashion. Every second person wants to go to Mount Everest.
Yes.
But what they do is they either go by horseback or trek halfway, then take the helicopter or come back by helicopter. So it's no longer your legs. So I think trekking is really, really important. It's fun. So we are planning a next treks very soon, I guess.
Knowing all this varied interest that you have, can I call you Captain Robert Adventurous?
No, I love this. The outdoors keep me very active.
What are your future plans as far as your respect to endurance athlete and master mariner?
So the future plans, I don't know if I'm saying this so confidently, but yeah, since we did the Ironman relay, I have decided to do the Ironman, the full Ironman on my own. That means I will swim for 1.9 kilometers, I will cycle 90 kilometers and immediately finish doing 21 kilometer run. I'm going to do all this by myself. That's happening on the 27th of October. So we are training hard for that. And of course we have a chief engineer, I just read his name, Rajdeep, who just done a full Ironman. So of course he's a very, very big inspiration. But yes, our full team here is training, so I'm doing my best to give my best.
Captain, coming back to your seafaring life, and we are running out of time. I just have last two questions to you.
Yes.
And I want quick and brief answers to that. Considering Goa has a very rich history as far as seafaring is concerned, is the Goa government doing enough to inspire, ambitious Goan youth to excel in the maritime industry and take up higher responsibility job like deck officers and marine engineers, and just not in the other, departments?
To be honest, I don't think so they're doing too much, because if you look at it, we hardly have any good colleges. We have the IMS college, which is fantastic, doing a great job, but nothing for the cadets. We don't have any. We have some private institutes that are there for the seafarers. But if the government has something good, we have one small college in Britona, which is actually dilapidated.
Yes.
And probably they're going to give it out to some, I heard that some university of Gujarat is going to come and take it over. Why not the Goa government do something? Why not we encourage our youth, have colleges here, have, the IMU has got, IMU is in Chennai, it's in Calcutta, it's in Mumbai. Why not Goa? Get it to Goa, then you'll get people interested.
Yes.
But what is happening is here, we are spreading the wrong notion. It's only cruises and casinos. So nobody,
this mindset has to
This
change.
is the mindset that has to change. Cruises and casinos, nothing wrong with them. But when you have studied, you have done your science, you can go higher. Why not? I think the government can definitely help us for this. And I think all our seafarers play a very important role here. We need to mentor and tell these kids, this is what lies ashore. You have to grind it for the initial few years, but then of course you will come out strong and you'll be settled very well.
Captain, one last question for you. We are really run out of time. What is the advice that you would like to give our Goan youth who look forward to, to go to that higher level of a ship captain or a chief engineer, and then maybe go beyond that to a superintendent engineer and things like that? What would be your serious and sincere advice?
My serious advice would be stay focused, stay sincere, and just remain on it. It's not going to be easy. It is definitely not going to be easy. It's not an easy route, but you need to stay focused and dedicated to what you're doing. There may be small pitfalls, but you'll rise again. So once you go through this initial thing, stay resilient and you will make it. I can assure you of that. Yeah.
Thank you very much, Captain. It was wonderful talking to you.
Thank you. Thank you, Daniel. Thank you
so much. Thank you for your time.
Thank you very much.
It was amazing to talk to Captain Robert Vaz. He's an adventurist, by the way, and to know him so closely, much beyond his profession as a master mariner. Captain Vaz's achievements are simply commendable. And it just goes to prove that where there is a will, there surely is a way. May he inspire many younger generation of Goan seafarers to aim for the sky. For more of Goenche Tarvotti, keep watching your favorite channel, the CCR TV channel. Thank you.